What's up, everyone? It's PFC Wegerly here, back from boot camp, making another video for you guys now that I have some more information pertaining to boot camp and what you actually do, because my other two videos weren't as informative as far as the boot camp training process. I didn't know anything. I hadn't been to boot camp, but now that I have, I've got more information for you guys. I graduated Charlie Company, Platoon 1055. I ended up graduating as the guide, and I was the series armorman. For those of you that don't know what that means, the guide is like the leader of the platoon. In my platoon, I had 52 Marines in it, so I was in charge of the 52 Marines in the platoon. And then at the end of the cycle, the company commander, he decides who's the company honorman, and there's a series honorman as well. All the guides go up against each other, and they do it's a board, honorman board. It's like a meeting, like an interview, and they ask you a bunch of questions and stuff, and they determine from those questions and your scores who is the company honorman and series honorman. So I ended up being series honorman, which is like I took second place in my company of 315 or 16 Marines. So that's pretty good. I went to boot camp not even expecting to be any kind of leadership position, because I was already a contract PFC, and I just wanted to get through boot camp. I didn't really want to take any leadership, which was a bad attitude to have. I'm glad that I was the guide. It made me better for it. It was a lot harder. It made boot camp a lot harder, but it was a lot more. I got more out of it, and I'm glad, looking back, that I was the guide. As far as the training regimen or the training schedule goes, first phase, when you get to boot camp, there's receiving week, and that's pretty much like a whirlwind of everything. You get off the bus, you get on the yellow footprints, and the receiving drill instructors, they'll read you off a big board. It's up on the wall. They tell you what you can have, what you can't have, what you can and can't do. And then from there, right away, they don't waste any time. You go into the building, into the depot, and you get your hair cut. They shave it really short, like this length, like a 0. They take away all your belongings. They put them in a box, and you get them back at the end of the cycle. Then you go in and you strip down, take off all your clothes. You get issued uniforms, like your camis, and a few items of gear that you'll use for the first phase. And from there, you go into a big squad bay with about 150 recruits, and you stay there for the first week. That's receiving week. And then that Friday, the Friday of receiving week, is called Black Friday. That's when you get split up into your platoon that you'll be with for the rest of the cycle, and you meet your drill instructors that day. And that day pretty much sucks. It's like the worst, probably the worst day of boot camp. They take all your gear, they throw it around the house, they flip your racks, your bunks, and you have about 500 seconds to put it back together. And 500 Marine Corps seconds isn't like a normal 500 seconds. It ends up being about 30 seconds. They count really fast. They count you down fast. So from the first day, you're already scared and you're ready to train, but you're in the back of your mind, you don't want to screw up because you don't want special attention from your drill instructors. And that's pretty much how it goes for the first month. The first month is the hardest. If you make it through the first month, you're pretty much good to go, like for the rest of the cycle, if you can keep a positive mental attitude. Our drill instructors and our coaches and all of our instructors throughout boot camp always taught us, if you go through everything with a positive mental attitude and a can-do attitude, then everything becomes easier. Boot camp wasn't that hard for me. Personally, I expected it to be a lot harder than it was. First phase, like I said, was the hardest part for me. Just getting adjusted to everything, the speed of everything, and proper greetings of the day was a big thing for me. I would forget to say things like, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir. Or if it was morning, I would say evening, good evening, gentlemen, or good evening, sir. And that, looking back, it was funny, but at the time, if you say something wrong or you don't give the proper greeting of the day, the drill instructors notice. They get on you like quick, and sometimes it's more than one drill instructor. So make sure you're on top of your game when you go to boot camp, and situational awareness. Always know who's around you, where you are, and stay like sharp. Stay sharp. That's the word I'm looking for. So that's first phase. You pretty much are just getting used to everything, getting used to drill. You take a lot of classes. There's a lot of classes. Pay attention to your classes, because it's easy to fall asleep. They usually have the classes after chow, so you'll go and eat, and it's hot, So you get in this room with your whole company, and then a lot of recruits fall asleep, and you don't want to do that. One, you're missing the information that they're giving you, and two, you look retarded when you fall asleep in front of a Marine. Sometimes they'll kick you out of the class, and you just go get IT'd. You get slayed for the remainder of the class for an hour, hour and a half, or whatever it is. So pay attention to your classes, learn your knowledge. It's probably the most important thing that you'll learn in boot camp is your knowledge. Knowledge is power, and if you have that, then you'll be set. Second phase is a lot more relaxed. You go up north to Camp Pendleton, which is about 40 minutes north, and that's when you do grass week, firing week, field week, and for my platoon, we did team week up there, but the rest of the company went back to MCRD for team week. So grass week is pretty much chill. You get a PMI, a personal marksmanship instructor, and he teaches you everything about your weapon, your M16, and then you learn the proper positions for firing, the sight alignment, sight picture, how to align your sights downrange so that you can hit the target. You hit the black when you do firing week, and after that you do firing week. You qualify with your rifle. You qualify from 200 yards, 300 yards, and 500 yards. You do a series of firing from those distances. I qualified as an expert, which is the highest you can shoot. It goes expert, sharpshooter, and then marksman. And if you listen to your PMIs, there's no reason you shouldn't shoot expert. It's easy. I didn't have that much experience with weaponry before boot camp, and I ended up shooting expert. So you can do it. Anybody can do it. And that pretty much was that's really important too. Your knowledge is the most important, but then how you do on the range and how you do on the PFT is what you get judged on. So take those three things really seriously. Then there's field week. That's like what I expected boot camp to be like. You're out in the field. You leave the squad base and you sleep in tents for 3 days, and you do field activities, obstacle courses, just everything, team building activities. Then you have team week, where you pretty much don't do much training. You do a lot of working parties where you go and help the Marines on the base. And for us, we were still at Camp Pendleton, so we worked with Marines on Edson Range and maintenance and all those places. It's just a team activity. It's pretty chill. It's like a relaxer kind of. And then you go back to MCRD for third phase. So third phase, you get your uniforms. You square away your uniforms. You get rid of IPs, like the Irish pennants, little strings on the seams, and you cut them. You make your uniforms perfect. And that's when you have your series commander inspection, your company commander inspection, and your battalion commander inspection. You get dressed up in your uniforms, and they come and inspect you. They ask you questions, and you answer them, and it's not bad. It's stressful because they're high-ranking officers, but it's not too bad. Then at the end of third phase, you do the Crucible. Everybody has questions about the Crucible, but I'm not going to go too into detail. You'll find out when you get there. I'm just going to say it's not that hard. The biggest thing about it is not having food and not having sleep. You get 3 MREs for the 2.5 days that you're out there, and if you don't ration them properly, if you eat all your MREs on the first day, you're going to be hurting. You need your food, but you need to use it sparingly. So when they say you can eat, don't always eat. Use field strip your MREs and put them together so that you have little meals, like crackers and some peanut butter for breakfast, and then maybe some raisins and a candy bar. There's some candy bars that you get in there. You can eat those. And then at night, eat your main meal so that you have some food to sleep with. And then field week, or for Crucible, it's 2 days of just a lot of hiking. And then you do the Reaper. The Reaper's not too bad. It's pretty steep, but you can get through it. After that, you get the Warrior's Breakfast, which is really good. And yeah, that's pretty much that's about as far into it as I'm gonna go. If you have other questions, I can answer that, but I'm not gonna go too into detail because we were told not to, and it's kind of a rite of passage. So you'll find out when you get there. As far as graduation, was awesome. It feels good to be done. The 13 weeks feels like 13 days. It feels like just yesterday that I was making the videos before I left, the day before I left, and now I'm back. So any other questions, you can message me. Feel free to comment, like it, share it with your recruiting station, share these videos with everybody you can, and hopefully this information helped you guys.